Hello, welcome to Magical Energy with me, Karen of Golden Oak Therapies. Do you find that you are hearing a lot more about energy, possibly energy blockages or energy systems, on how energy is affecting our health? So in this series of podcasts, I will be exploring the powerful effect of energy, how it impacts upon our health and well-being, how illness can be due to energy blockages, and how we can make sure we are in optimum energetic flow. Energy is something we don't necessarily see, but we can certainly feel it, and it is absolutely essential to our lives. So join me as we explore energy, its effect, and the therapies that bring in magical energy. Welcome back to Magical Energy, and in today's podcast we are going to be talking about something that probably is not so well known, which is shamanic healing. And once again, Mitch is going to be asking the questions that hopefully you might be querying about as well to find out more about shamanic healing.
Yeah, hi Karen. So this is something I've definitely not heard of. Can you describe it?
Yes, so shamanism is the oldest form of spiritual practice, probably about 20 to 30,000 years old. And our ancestors believed that everything has a spirit, and that by working with the spirits of nature, of animals, of plants, then that allows healing to happen within our own bodies. So millennia ago, our forebearers were very much attuned to the energy around them in their living environment. So, they worked and lived with the seasons, they were aware of the rise and fall of the sun each day, and were very much in tune to the properties of plants, and gave gratitude and thanks to the animals that they hunted. So very much more in their environment than we are today. And shamanism arose from this way of living. And as a shaman or a medicine healer, that person would connect with the spirits of what was around them, and to be shown different ways of clearing out blockages, misplaced energy, in order to bring about health back to that person again. Today, shamans still work with spirits of animals and plants and nature, and it's very much a three-way partnership between the spirits or the guides, with the client, and with the shamanic practitioner themselves. And that practitioner or shaman is sort of standing with one foot in this world and another foot in the world of the spirits. Shamans are universal. They are present in many indigenous cultures around the world, from North and South America through to Africa and Asia and Australia. There are many ways of communing with and connecting with the spirits in order to bring about healing. Some shamans use powerful drugs to get into that spirit world. Others may dance themselves into a trance. But it is always working with compassionate spirits that through the shaman can bring about health back to that person again.
So is this what you're doing when offering a shamanic healing then?
Well, I'm certainly not taking drugs, and I'm certainly not dancing myself into a trance, but the integral part of the way I work is still connecting and working alongside my compassionate healing guides and spirits. And I connect in a way that supports this healing process. I did a 2-year apprenticeship that was very much what we called an embodied approach to shamanic healing. and that's being able to have direct conversation with the body. So asking the body, where the blockages are, what is the purpose for that blockage? Is it theirs, or it may be what we call attachments? It might be somebody else's that have attached them to their body, and that blockage may be ancient. So it may not even be from that person's lifetime. It may be from a previous lifetime. There's a saying that each person carries their own doctor inside of them. And it is the shaman that gives the doctor a chance to work. Or in other words, as we've said in Reiki, it kickstarts the body's natural ability to heal itself.
How does this differ from Reiki then?
Yeah, so both use energy, but I would say in shamanic healing, it's more of a proactive way of working. As I said, it's a three-way approach. So I also bring in my guides and spirits to work through me and with me. I often ask quite a few more questions of the client, and generally I move around a lot more. And I also may use what we call sacred tools. So that might be a drum, it might be a rattle, it might be a feather, I might use my breath, or I might use my voice.
Can you give me an example of a session with someone?
Yeah, so I had a client fairly recently who came to me with feeling walked over, feeling that they are being taken for granted, no sense of joy in their lives. So the area of their body that I was drawn to or guided to was their lower back. And asking questions that I did, the client was able to describe this blockage, if you like, as very dense, very black and kidney shaped. And I asked about what emotion was attached to it, and they said it was rage. Further questions reveal that they felt that blockage actually wasn't theirs, that it came from their mother. And they also saw a warrior standing there next to them as well. So through the process of how I work, it felt like it was time for that blockage to go. It's what we call an extraction. And when you take something energetically out of the body, you need to replace it with something else. And in its place was a sense of freedom. And that then needed to be connected to their heart space. And I wanted to know, when was the last time they felt a sense of freedom or joy in their lives? And they recalled being about 3 years old, so very young. So what I did was what's called a soul retrieval. So for all of us, when we experience any kind of trauma, and that could be a small trauma as well as a big trauma, part of our soul leaves in order to protect ourselves. And it felt like during this session, it was a time for that soul part that had left to come back into that person's body. So I did that within a process to actually integrate once again that part of that soul for that person. They contacted me a few weeks later to say that they felt there had been a real shift in their feelings of frustration and anger. And they were able to almost like give themselves more love and appreciation that had been missing. So I felt that was part of that soul retrieval coming back. And they had more, what they described as more joy and happiness in their lives.
Why would somebody else want to book a shamanic healing session then?
Yeah, so it's similar to the other energy healing therapies, but often people come for shamanic session because they feel something feels more stuck or entrenched in their lives. And that could be a result of trauma that's still affecting them. They can have a shamanic session certainly for chronic pain, again for stress and anxiety, or it's almost like some people have a sense of feeling detached from the world around them, or they're feeling out of balance. Often, and happens a lot, that what the person presents with is not the core issue. And once again, we go exploring as to where the actual cause is, which could be more in the spiritual level rather than in a physical level, and do the work that's needed to clear that blockage. One important thing to say about this, Mitch, is that whenever anybody contacts me, I always do what I call a journey first, to first of all see whether, one, I'm the right person for me to work with them, and if I'm not, it may be that I refer them on to somebody else. And secondly, to have guidance from my spirits or guides as to the best way of working with them as well. So very important thing for me, not just to say, yes, I'll work with you. We've got to be the right match and the fit. And just like I've said before, that energy is intelligent. Our guides, our spirits, also have an ancient wisdom, and they know when the time is right for a person to receive healing and in what way.
Yeah, so that's very interesting. And I find it fascinating you have to kind of check in to see if you're right for that person. I suppose it always goes back to seeing if you have the right energy.
Yeah.
There's a lot to take in about past lives, spirits and soul retrievals, and I expect people may wish to find out a bit more about this themselves. So thank you once again, Karen, for talking about energy in a different way, and I'm sure to catch up with you very soon.
Thank you, Mitchell. I hope you enjoyed and found this podcast interesting. So join me for more of them as we talk about this wonderful and magical energy.